Alright, so now we're moving on to congruent angles. So remember that this little squiggly, then the equal signs, this means congruent. Same size and same shape. So we're doing congruent angles. So we're making congruent angles. We're always given an angle to start with. So here's my given angle. And an angle, to refresh, is two rays. So a ray has an endpoint and then goes on forever. So two rays meet at a point, and that point is called the vertex. So P is your vertex. So when I say the word vertex, I'm referring to the P, where the two rays intersect. So the first thing you're going to do when you have an angle to construct a congruent one is the same as a segment. You have to create something new. So we're going to start off by making our own ray. And I'm going to label it P prime, just so you see how the angle is being constructed with the same letters, just with the prime, because they are different. So that's step one. Really nice and simple. Now, step two is just as simple. We're going to grab our compass. You're going to put the needle point on P, and then you're going to pick any arc distance, any distance you want. And you want to make sure it intersects both rays. So a nice arc that intersects both rays. And then you freeze the compass. Don't move the compass. So we've frozen the compass. Now I've got these points. I'm going to call it B and A. So, once again, we've created new points. So we're going to use the points we created. But before we use those points, we're going to use the frozen compass distance that we had up here. Bring it right down and put your tip of the needle from the compass right on P prime and draw the same arc length. So, frozen compass, now you're going to draw an arc. You want to make sure that arc comes a little bit past the vertex point, just in case it's an obtuse angle, or you want to see where we're going to see where they intersect. So, we've done that, we've drawn an arc. Easy peasy so far. Now, we're going to take the pencil point over here, and we're going to put it on A, and we're going to put my suction cup, which is the needle point, on your compass, and you're going to draw an arc just through A, and then freeze the compass distance. So, to refresh what I just did, I put the needle point on B, then drew an arc through A. Freeze the compass. We do this because we want to know how far away this ray is. So, once again, we're going to use the distance between this segment AB. So this is a segment. So right now we're actually drawing a congruent segment to AB down here. So I'm going to label this point where we intersected down here, P prime. So we want to know how far away our A prime would be. So we have to use the distance of the segment. So right here, this isolated step with the arc right here is constructing a congruent segment. So now you're going to take your compass and put the suction cup or needle point for you guys on B prime, and then you're going to draw your arc. Okay? So you draw the arc, and that arc is just, we just constructed a congruent segment of AB. So here is where I would put A prime. And you see that A prime and B prime is congruent to AB. So that's one thing that we've learned from this. A prime, B prime segment is congruent to AB. So now we've got that. And these arcs. And we also know that P to B is the same thing, is congruent to P prime, B prime, because it's the same distance, okay? It's the radius of the circle. So, we've got this, we've got that. Now, we have a point here and a point here. So now we're just going to take our straight edge and draw a ray from P through A prime. With that ray being drawn, we now have congruent angles. So we can write angle P is congruent to angle P prime. So, for a quick review of steps. The first step, we drew a ray. The second step up here, we drew an arc of any distance using P as our starting point. So you put the needle point on P and draw the arc. Then we froze the compass and did the same thing down here. So the 2's here are what we drew that arc from. Then the third step, I'll highlight it in purple, is we took the distance from B to A and drew an arc. So we're constructing a congruent segment. So we drew this arc right here. All right? Then we came down here and drew the same arc and labeled our A. So we know that these are congruent as well. These two little dashes mean that those two are congruent to each other. Then after that, we put a point where they intersected and drew an arc. And that is how you construct congruent angles.